Hola y bienvenidos a todos. Hi and welcome everyone to a Speech Bubble Languages Spanish session with me, Louise from Speech Bubble Languages HQ. Today's lesson is suitable for complete beginners or beginner learners of the Spanish language. And our focus today is helping you practice your pronunciation for places in and around the city today. So let's make sure that you are ready to speak out loud. If we always are very keen to be able to speak Spanish, so it's important when you watch this video today that you are trying the vocabulary after me out loud. You might want to warn the other people in your house that you're going to be doing so. Okay, en la ciudad. So let's take ourselves into the city. En la ciudad. As each of the images appear on the screen, I want you to listen carefully to the word and repeat it after me. Then you'll see the spelling of the word appear on the screen and you'll try to say it aloud with me or after me again. So 2 times per image, paying special attention to any little peculiarities that I'll draw your attention to as we work our way through. Vamos a la ciudad. Let's head into the city. El parque. El parque. El castillo. El castillo. Nice double L making that yes sound. Castillo. El mercado. El mercado. El centro comercial. Watching those C's that are coming out with a nice th sound. El centro comercial. Excelente, well done. El cine. El cine. Nice th sound on that first C. Coming into the back of your throat for this one. El gimnasio. El gimnasio. A big one here for you. Let's take it nice and slow. El polideportivo. El polideportivo. El museo. El museo. El estadio. El estadio. El teatro. El teatro. And one for fun. It's a big one. Take it slowly. El ayuntamiento. El ayuntamiento. Pues aquí tenemos la lista. Here we've got a list of all of those words we just practiced. Can you remember how they sound? If you're unsure of the pronunciation, why not hit pause, rewind the video, and go through that pronunciation practice with me again before coming back to the screen, saying them aloud, and see if you can note down the English for each of them too. Now I'm going to pop a little star next to each of the words, which I think need a little bit more of your attention due to some peculiar pronunciations. El castillo, that nice double L in Spanish making that yes sound. El centro comercial, the 2 C's that make the th, very similarly to the word cine as well, cine. Gimnasio, nice h at the back of your throat on there for you too. El gimnasio. Have you had a chance to add in your English? Let's check if you got it correct, shall we? I'm going to clear off all my little doodles on the screen and add your English in now. Check that you've got exactly the same as me, because it's time for us to meet our next bunch of places in the city. Let's be speaking out loud, remember, 2 times, once without, and then with the written word on the screen. La catedral. La catedral. La tienda. La tienda de ropa. Esta es la ropa, de tienda de ropa. La piscina. La piscina. Try to get that S out before the tongue comes out for the cina part of it. La piscina. La bolera. La bolera. La estación. Nice this sound accent on that O. La estación. La fábrica. Accent on the A. La fábrica. Lots of options here for this building. We can say la escuela, el colegio, and your third option, el instituto. So here are the three words you've just tried. La escuela normalmente es una escuela primaria. The escuela often used for primary schools, whereas el colegio o el instituto for the secondary element of your education. La playa. La playa. Y para terminar, and our final image, la plaza de toros. La plaza de toros. Muy bien, aquí tenemos la lista de los otros lugares en la ciudad. Here's a lovely list of our other places in and around the city. Your English is there ready and waiting for you. But once again, let's use my little star to remind you of some pronunciation troublesome points which can come up. La Catedral. Now I know it looks like cathedral, but there's no H in there, so make sure it's a nice La Catedral. La piscina, so the tongue comes out second. La estación. So the th for the C, the accent up on the O, la estación. Nice accent on the A for fábrica. Watching the word colegio, just nice like gimnasio, nice sound on the back of your throat. And finally, on la plaza de toros, tongue coming out again. Take a moment to make a note of our lovely vocabulary in Spanish and make sure you also have your English side by side as well. So we've arrived in La Ciudad and we're on the hunt to find different places around the city. There are lots of different ways that you can ask for directions in Spanish. Shall we try each of the ones on the screen in turn? ¿Dónde está el bar? El parque, por favor. ¿Por dónde se va a la playa? Perdone, ¿el museo? ¿Dónde están los servicios? ¿Hay un mercado por aquí? Now, I'm sure when you practice them, there are some there that are a lot easier than others. The most simplest ways of asking for directions in Spanish would be to take the green or the red box. Simply state the place and say please, or ask, excuse me, and then the name of the place. El parque, por favor. El museo, por favor. El restaurante, por favor. Perdone, el museo. Perdone, el supermercado. Perdone, la playa, por favor. So those two boxes there are probably the most easiest ones that you could use. Following after that, you're looking maybe at the orange and blue one. They're very similar to each other. Do you know the difference between them? Can you spot an N on the blue one? Donde están los servicios? Studying those bubbles carefully, what do you think is going on? So, donde está el bar is where is the bar, whereas donde están los servicios, where are the toilets? So a wee change to the word is or are when you're using that formation. The purple box is the next one I'd love you to take a look at. Hay un mercado por aquí. This one is asking, is there a market near here? Hay un mercado por aquí. So we use hay and then por aquí with a place in the middle. The centered box, the kind of lighter green one, por donde se va a la playa, is quite a fancy way of putting it. It's also a bit footery, isn't it? Por donde se va a la playa. So where does one go to the beach? It's a tricky one, but if you do fancy using them, one thing to watch out for is the use now of la playa, not una playa. So we're using the definite article here, not the indefinite. I'm watching out as well that if the article you're using is el, for example, el cine, the a, por donde se va a, becomes al, doesn't it? Por donde se va al cine. So a little tricky one there if you fancy having a go at that one. Lots of different ways that you can ask for directions in the town in Spanish. So we're on hunt for this place. What's the name of this place in Spanish? It's El Parque. Now, using those different ways I taught you to ask for directions, hit pause here and ask for those directions out loud. Try for 2 or 3 different ways. Now we're on the hunt for this. It's la estación. How would you ask for those? Try a couple of different ways. Now we're off to find a room for the night. El hotel. How would you ask for directions there? Try again, lots of different ways, different options. Maybe try one you haven't tried yet. And finally, a plural here to get you thinking. Los restaurantes, finding your way for something to eat. How would you ask for directions to where the restaurants are? Muy bien hecho todos. Well done, everyone. It's come to the end already of this little mini lesson where we've explored different places in La Ciudad and how to ask for directions around the area that you're staying. Can you complete your speech bubble for this week? Make a note of your favourite, maybe the most simplest ways of asking for directions in Spanish. Try to also spend some time learning the words in Spanish for the different places we've explored today. Why not think about the things that are in and around your town too, and try your dictionary even to look up some other little words for places in and around the town. How would you ask for directions to those places too? Hasta la próxima todos. Until next time, everyone. Muchas gracias y adiós.